things about it, whatever I'll be teaching you today. Okay. So getting on with the session, I would want to know what your favorite anime character is. Like drop it down in the chat box.
Naruto.
Okay.
Ma'am, Victor
Okay.
from
Could you
Yuri
all
on
like
Ice.
I like Dragon Ball Z
okay.
and Avatar.
Okay, could you all like
Naruto.
drop it down in the chat box because it's getting
Naruto, One
too
Punch Man.
clumped up.
Sure, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Hinata from Haikyuu. Okay.
Itachi. Uchiha.
Okay.
Shinchan, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, that's great. That's great. So we'll be drawing one of your favorite characters today. So I will be doing that in the later on, the next part of the session. So for the beginning part of it, what we'll be doing is a little bit of color theory, and I'll be giving you a gist of what exactly color theory is. Have you all heard what exactly color theory is? Do you know what it is? You could just drop it
No,
down in the
ma'am.
chat box as to what you think it is. Okay, Monica has raised the hand. You can just drop it down in the chat box as well. You did a course. Okay, that's great. Okay. So for the people who don't exactly know what it is, yeah, Anusha, mixing up the colors is also complementary colors. Yeah. Those are all parts of color theory. What I'll be teaching you today is basically going to be mood theory, okay, and what exactly each and every color signifies. Okay. So because we don't have enough time to cover up everything, so we'll be doing that. Yeah, color wheel and all of that, they're all parts of it. You all are correct. So moving on with it, every color has, a significance, or, it gives off an impact whether you like it or not. Even if you're like, yeah, ma'am, mujhe nahi chahiye wo color. I don't want it to feel that way towards me, but, it's already done. And, human beings perceive the color in a certain way. And color theory is something, designers use, brands use, artists use, all of us use it to, relate something and give something off to the client or the one perceiving it. Okay. And yeah, moving on with it. So if you've seen, street signs and all of that, you would probably see them bright red. And the reason being because, red gives off a very dangerous vibe, and, it gives off danger, fire, heat, and all of that. Monica, yeah, you can just drop it down in the chat box, whatever you have to ask. Okay. So, the reason being because that's what human beings perceive that color to be. So, moving on with that, if you've seen hospitals as well, they're either green or blue color because, hospitals give off a very calming effect, and, there has to be a lot more, invitation, like it should be very inviting and calm and all of that. So that's the reason we use blue color. Um, yes, Monica, we'll be talking about that towards the end of the session. Okay. Yeah. So then there is purple as well. If you've, heard of purple being used for royalty or, ambition and wealth and all of that, the reason being in the olden days, kings and queens used to use that particular color in order to, assert their dominance or, make it feel like, they're rich. And that's the reason they were using that particular color because it was a very sought out color and very difficult to make as well. Because if you all know, purple is made by mixing two dyes, red and blue. So, when you mix it, already it was very difficult to make it. So, to get that particular color, to wear it and all of that, that's the reason it's used for wealth. And then there's orange. Okay, orange gives off a very creative and also, energetic vibe as well. And green gives off a very nature and healing vibe and all of that. Yellow gives off a very happy and active and all of those, it gives you those particular things that you'll be feeling. Black is death and power. So you would think it's a double-edged sword kind of a thing, because you could give off a particular vibe to a person, either death or power. So you could use any of those. Okay. And white is also used to give off peace and prosperity. Okay, so if you've even looked at wars and all of that, you would see them waving, or even Tom and Jerry for that matter. If you've seen Tom or Jerry waving that white color flag, that basically means, yeah, this is peace, I'm giving off peace, and I'm surrendering, and that's the reason white is used. And yeah, basically like yin and yang a bit. And yeah, so that's basically what mood theory is. And to give off another example, if you've seen Pampers, they use blue and yellow color in, you know, the packaging as well. So that's what they're trying to give off. Like, you know, if your child uses my particular brand, it will be happy and active while it's doing its business. So that's what it's trying to portray and give off. Okay. So does anyone have any doubts? Y'all can just drop it down in the chat box. Dave says no. Okay. Okay. So, like I had told you, we'll be, you know, sketching a little something. So, we'll be sketching Luffy from One Piece. Has anyone watched One Piece? Okay. Okay. So, Luffy is like the main protagonist in that particular anime. So, I hope y'all are excited to watch it. I mean, y'all should watch it, definitely. So, we'll be sketching that. Not yet. Okay, then you should definitely watch it. And for the people saying, you know, it's too long and all of that, honestly, it's not that long. It's if you've watched Naruto, then I think you can give it a chance as well. Um, okay. I hope my video is proper.
Yeah, you are completely visible.
Okay.
I guess, Monica, you are only facing this issue, so you can do one thing, just disconnect it once and rejoin it.
Okay. So I'll be sharing my screen right now and I'll be sharing the reference. So I would want you all to take a screenshot ASAP. I'll be giving you 2 minutes. So just take a screenshot and I would want you all to do this particular sketch along with me. Get a book, ruled, unrolled, whatever you want, or your sketchbook, and pen or pencil.
Ma'am, give me a minute.
दोनों उनका ना அந்த ஒன்னு எழுதுனா முடிஞ்சிச்சா
Just a second, I'll share it again.
Please be on mute so that to avoid this.
I don't know why this is happening. And whoever's talking, could you please mute yourself? Thank you.
Ma'am, your screen is not visible. It's a blank screen. I guess it is not visible for everyone.
Okay, I'll try to fix it. I don't know why this is happening. Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am. Now.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, can see.
Okay, great.
Guys, quickly take the screenshot of this.
Ma'am, again, it's not visible at all.
May I know who's this? Who cannot see the screen?
I can't see the screen.
Amisha. Himanshu. Himanshu and Amisha, if the screen is not visible, just check your network connection because it is visible for everyone else. Like either you can rejoin or refresh it.
I see
No, ma'am. I have a full internet connectivity.
Hello, ma'am.
You can have the internet full internet connectivity. Just rejoin the link again. Because like I guess it is visible to everyone else.
Yes, I see.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I had a question. In anime, we have different art styles according to studios, right? Like Ghibli, Shinkai, Wit, and Mappa all have different art styles. So, in this class, are we going to learn about a particular studio style or just the base?
We'll just be doing one particular thing so far, like because we don't have enough time to get into all of that. So we'll just be doing Monkey D. Luffy. We won't be getting into all of that in this particular workshop. I hope
Okay, ma'am.
it's understandable.
Ma'am, I still can't see your shared screen.
Ma'am, can you please stop and reshare it? Because I guess it is not visible for a few people.
Yeah, one more second.
It is not visible. It's we are getting a black screen. Yeah, it is visible now.
Okay, ma'am. It's visible.
Okay, great, great. Once everyone is done with the screenshot, just mention in the chat box so that we can start with the drawing. Ma'am, we can wait for just another 1 minute and post that you can start with the drawing.
Ma'am, what is the name of this character?
The name of the character is Monkey D. Luffy. He's from One Piece. It's an anime. Okay. I hope everyone is done taking the screenshot. Okay. So
Yes, ma'am,
I
can
hope
see
you can
the.
see my screen. Okay. So every sketch, for example, is divided into three particular sections. All right. So that will be the mid thirds, the upper thirds, and the lower thirds. Okay. So the mid thirds would consist of the face and the neck area and all of that. The upper thirds would consist of his hat and everything above it, basically the hair and all of that as well. And the lower thirds would consist of his body and everything neck below. So, for example, if we were taking a reference which had his entire body in it, we would do it the same way, but then the middle part, that is his torso region, would be taken as the mid thirds. The hip and down till his legs would be taken as the lower thirds, and everything that's his face and all of that will be taken as the upper third. Okay, so what I like to do first is start with the mid thirds, that will be his face basically, and then work my way outwards, because if I draw the face first, I get enough space to place my entire character so that it is not in a very odd place, or if I start over here, it'll not have enough space to complete the entire drawing. Okay, so I want you all to like do this with me if you can, or just take your pen, pencil, or anything you want and just do it. Okay, So, and this is just a beginner session, so I will not be going in depth with, the anatomy and all of that.
Ma'am, is this his torso?
No, this is just his face and, whatever reference that we had taken. Maloney, maybe you can see the trace because the previous drawing was also of his. Because, I had sketched it to teach someone else. So maybe that's why you can see the trace.
Ma'am, can you zoom a bit?
1 second.
Yes, it's fine now.
Is it better? Okay, thanks.
Ma'am, aren't you going with Lumi's method?
We won't be doing all of that right now because, it will take a lot more time to go with all of it. You can either use Lumi's method, grid method, anything that you want, honestly. I won't be teaching all of that in this particular session.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. If you'll have any doubts, y'all can drop it down in the chat box. Abhishek, no, I don't do digital art. Angela, it's not just tracing. No, I am not going to be teaching all of that right now.
Are there going to be further classes for like anatomy and all?
Yes, I'll be doing all of that in my masterclass. I'll be teaching you how exactly anatomy works and all of that.
Okay, ma'am.
Angela, I don't think I want to be wasting any of your time. So if you don't if you don't want to attend this workshop, you could just leave. Thank you.
I'm sorry to leaving class. My phone is dead.
Yeah, that's completely fine. I'll be teaching you basic sketching techniques, basically the shading techniques and all of that.
Ma'am, session
So
time
one
is
thing that
7
you
to
need to
8
do
now.
is, I'm sorry?
Ma'am, session time is 7 to 8 p.m. No?
Yeah. So one thing that you need to know is there is a thing called cross hatching. What that is basically in its name. So you basically do lines diagonally that crisscross each other. That's called cross hatching. And then there is one more thing of, if you want to make darker lines or to, show that there is a darker shadow there, you will have to make lines which are darker and they're right next to each other. Okay. And another technique is for places which don't have a lot of shadow, but then there is a little bit of shadow, what you would want to do is make lighter lines and further away from each other. Okay. So for his hair, we'll be doing darker lines, or you could even do cross hatching or anything. But then in the reference that I've given, it's pitch black. But then if you don't want to do pitch black, you can do anything, any kind of cross hatching or any of these three methods that you want. And also the bleach mangaka, he does this particular technique where he draws these lines and goes over those particular lines again with a 5-degree angle that gives it a little bit of a unique look. So that's one more. So over here, if you can see in the reference, it's a dark black line. So for that, I'll be doing lines which are closer to each other.
Will we get recordings for this class?
No, you won't be getting recordings for this particular class. I'm sorry. Abhishek, you were asking?
You won't be getting the
Yeah.
recordings for trial classes, but like if you enroll yourself for the master class, which the details would be shared in the end of the session, for all the that you will be getting the access to the recordings.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, Abhishek, if you're talking about the shadows especially, what you would have to think about is where exactly the light source is. Right now, in the reference that I've given, the light source is on top. So, and also if you can see, he has a hat, right? So the shadows will be falling underneath it. So this is where most of his shadows will be, and also because he has a neck. Even if you take a picture of yourself in the or anything, you would see that your neck is usually a little darker because of the shadow falling on it. So this is how it's going to be, and also there's a hat on top, right? So the shadows would be somewhere over here as well. Aditya, the torso cannot be seen because in the particular reference that I've shared with y'all, there is no torso. And one more thing I would suggest you all to do is go over your lines in case they're a little light, so as to give it a little bit of an outline.
Monica, the drawing is already spotlighted. Yes, Satya?
Ma'am, just making shades, so making light shadow. So we will use like that now. Making like that.
I'm sorry, I don't quite get what you're trying to say. Is
Ma'am,
this Satya
Ma'am,
speaking?
Ma'am, I
yeah.
say something in Hindi.
Yeah, for sure.
मैम जैसे हमें शेड करना होगा लाइट शेड, तो आपने बताया तो हमें इस तरीके शेड करना है, लाइंस खींच खींच के छोटा। इस तरीके से अगर हमें लाइट शेड करना होगा तो हमें अपने जो लाइंस होंगे उनको थोड़ा दूर दूर करके बनाना होगा, लाइक दैट।
Yeah, just like that. अगर lighter areas है वहां पर you can do the धूर धूर वाले lines which are lighter. And for immediate darker shadows, उसके लिए you can use tighter lines and thicker ones and darker as well.
थैंक यू मैम।
Welcome.
तो मैम बेसिकली हम जो Pinterest वाली फोटो थी हम वहाँ से रेफरेंस ले रहे हैं एंड वी आर शेडिंग इन क्रॉस हैचिंग यूजिंग क्रॉस हैचिंग, है ना?
Yeah.
ओके मैम।
The only reason I shared the reference was so that y'all are on board with the same thing that I'm doing. Has anyone over here even watched One Piece? Or wants to watch One Piece?
What?
You watched it. Are you up to date with it as well?
No, ma'am, I want to watch.
Oh, you want to watch it, okay. Well, then you should. Okay, Shruti's watched it. Sagarika has watched it. Okay. That's a lot of people who have watched it. Oh, sure, that's completely fine. You know, eventually you will be interested into it, the more animes you watch.
Ma'am, which anime?
Yes मैम।
One Piece. Anshita has recently started it. How do you like it so far, Anshita? Any favorite characters so far?
Ma'am, like you are like we are sketching lines and
Yeah.
then we are overlapping them with the exact opposite of those lines, right?
Either you could do that or you could go along the line as well. It depends on how exactly you want to do it. This is just going to be a rough sketching, right? So one more thing that people usually uses, which I'll be teaching in my master course, that is how exactly to do the guidelines, and so that you know where exactly you're supposed to be doing it and along which lines. Okay, so over here, if you can see, the guidelines go across his line and over here. So that's where the eyes are, and that's where you exactly know where to start shading that particular area. So over here you would know how exactly to shade, because it's the eye, and how exactly to shade the nose and all of that.
So it's just
Okay.
like as if it's going as a straight line going through everything else, and
Yeah,
we
yeah,
have
yeah.
just erased the other thing.
Yeah. So that's what is cross hatching basically. You could use that for the clothes too, because it gives a very unique effect and it's not the same throughout.
Okay, ma'am.
I hope I did not confuse you, Sharia.
Ma'am, the skills that we use in traditional art, is it applicable in digital art as well?
Yeah, definitely. You can use the same shading techniques and the hatching techniques in digital art as well. I'm assuming you either have a tablet or
Yes, ma'am.
or something that you use, right? You
Yes,
could
ma'am.
essentially use it as your sketchbook sheet and you can do the same exact thing.
Okay, ma'am.
Aditya says hello. Hello, Aditya. Abit, yes, I have watched Hunter x Hunter. And honestly, the only reason I watched it was because I got this spoiler about this fight. If you have watched Hunter x Hunter, you probably know which fight I'm talking
How
about.
to draw Killua or from Hunter x Hunter?
I'm sorry?
Ma'am, can you teach us to draw Hunter x Hunter character? Is there no Killua? Can you teach us to draw that character?
In this particular session, I won't be able to do that because it's almost going to be done in another 20 minutes. So I'm sorry about that. Sushmita, what exactly was confusing in the shading part? I could clear it out for you.
Ma'am, I had a question as well.
Who's this speaking?
Ma'am, Yuri.
Yes, Yuri, tell me.
Ma'am, this Luffy have black hair. That's why we are using this technique, as in like we are directly applying that black all over the ma'am here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Ma'am, but what if a character have lighter hair color like pink or white?
Yeah, if you want to, one second. I think I have drawn someone with a lighter hair as well. Just give you an example. Okay. So if you can see over here, this is Mikey. He has blonde hair. He's from Tokyo Revengers. He has blonde hair. And you can use any kind of techniques you want. And if you can see over here closely, I have used faraway lines in order to, not make it too dark.
Yes.
All right. I hope that's a little clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You can just use faraway lines and you don't have to make it so close together.
Okay, ma'am.
Akash, I don't quite know how many seasons there are, but I think there's 1005 or 6 episodes in One Piece.
Ma'am, I am getting confused at how to draw a space line of Luffy.
Yeah, over here, if you can see, these are the guidelines for his face, all right? And also because he has a smaller, rounder face, his jaw will also be a little softer. Okay, so wait. You make a circle, draw the line, make a softer line for him, and that's how you make him basically. And this will be his eye line, where his eyes would go. This is where his notes would be, and this is where his face would be. Hope that's a little more clear.
Ma'am, can I show you my work?
Could we wait until we are all done with it so that we can all look at it together?
Ma'am, you can please zoom it.
Guys, you will be saying all the work once ma'am is done with.
Ma'am, you can please zoom it.
Yeah, just a second. Aditya, I haven't watched Initial D. Kshiti's Prakash
Ma'am,
is
could you
done.
move it up?
Is this better?
Thank you.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, from where one should start to draw these anime characters?
I'm
Like first
sorry?
we have to start sketching or something. Like if we want to draw these anime characters as a beginner,
Mm-hmm.
so first we have to start learning sketching or what? What are
I would
the
suggest start sketching first because that way you'll know how exactly all the characters look like. And then I would say eventually start coloring them or painting them or whatever it is. Maybe start by doodling them a little bit like how y'all are doing right now. Make like small, tiny sketches and all of that. Doesn't even have to be perfect, honestly. The more you do it, I think the better you will understand as much as, I mean, the more you learn about the anatomy and all of that of the particular character and how exactly it's to be done. Because it's not the same as human portraits as well. I mean, it's kind of similar, but I wouldn't say they're the same thing. So, yeah,
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am.
you're welcome. Karan, yes, I'm using a zero point 0.7 mechanical pencil, and this is a 130 GSM sketchbook. And I'm done with the sketch. Okay, could you all just let me know if y'all are done as well?
Ma'am, I am not done.
Okay, fine. We'll give another 2 to 3 minutes, and then I think Tanya, you can take over.
Sure.
Bhavin, it's completely fine.
Na, you will be getting it on a perfect mood.
I'm sorry, Tanya. I think your voice got cut off a little bit.
Cases, na, he will be getting perfection in that.
Oh, yeah. Tanmay, okay, that's really good. Yeah, Anshita, what you could do is what I had just told you about the guidelines. The reason we use the guidelines is so that we get a little more symmetry and it doesn't look all wonky and all of that. So that's the reason we use guidelines in order to make it look symmetrical. Karan, I wouldn't say so. I could do the same exact thing with the pencil as well, but it's just that it's too much work to keep on sharpening it. I'm just a very lazy person like that, so that's the only reason I use a mechanical pencil. You could use anything you want. Shit is, I don't have a YouTube channel.
Ma'am, can we outline it darkly at the end?
Yes, yes, Shaurya, you can do whatever you want. I mean, it's your sketch, right? You can even color it with sketch pens, anything you want.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
So I hope everyone is done till now.
Yes, Yuri, it's completely fine.
So guys, if you have any doubt, any questions, you can quickly unmute yourself or else you can write them in the chat box.
Current some of my other sketches.